Welcome to Growth Mode Podcast for Real Estate Agents, hosted by the Floyd Wickman Team. You know, you can either do it alone or bathe your mind with the inspiration of others. During this podcast, you'll listen to successful agents in our coaching community from across North America share what motivates them and what they've learned. So, welcome to the Growth Mode Podcast. I am so glad you're here, and I'm your host this time, Mary Palin, and I am so excited to introduce you to a friend of mine, Alli Vaith. And I'm going to have her tell you where she is because, you know, we love referrals, and why she knows Wickman. And then we're going to talk about something that I know you are going to find interesting. I am so excited to have this conversation with my friend Alli. So thank you, Alli, for agreeing to this. Tell us a little bit about you.
What a treat to see you again, Mary. So I am in Rochester, Minnesota, which is the home of Mayo Clinic, which is like the lifeblood of our town. So we have 55,000 people that work at the Mayo Clinic. So our life surrounds around it, even though I sell real estate. So nothing to do with the medical world.
Right. How long have you been selling real estate and why Wickman? What do you know about Wickman?
So I'm in my 12th or 13th year, which is wild. I've been in the market that I'm in currently for about 10 years. And previously I was in the Austin, Texas market. When I transitioned to Minnesota, I didn't know anyone in the town that I moved to. So my mom, way back in the day, I think in the mid 90s, started in Floyd Wickman, maybe early 2000s. So my mom was in Floyd Wickman during Sweat Hog, like a long time ago, even though now I know we brought it back, but it was a long time ago.
The live program. It was the live program. Right?
Yeah. So when she first got into real estate, so then when I came to Rochester, she's like, you need to talk to Mary and you need to get into this program now. So then I was actually able to take a live in-person program with you and my mom in Iowa, gosh, maybe 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay.
And then since then, I've just been in R squared coaching on and off.
And as the listeners probably know, but just to make sure, when we do an R squared 60-minute weekly call, it starts with keeping accountability, right? So everyone reports their numbers. The coach kind of tells you where you're at. Not kinda. The coach definitely tells you where you're at with regard to your goal. And then we go around the horn, and each person has the opportunity to either ask the experts question to solve a problem or to offer a parade of techniques. And Alli, I am not your coach on that call, but I heard you had like the best parade of techniques. And when I got really excited about this, because anyone could do that interview, but I'm like, oh, me, I want to be the one, because I read the same book you did, Unreasonable Hospitality. And if y'all that are listening haven't read or heard about this book, it was written by Will, first name Will, last name Guidara. I don't know exactly.
I feel like he kept saying Garda, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Oh, that's because you listened to the book.
I listened to the book twice.
Aha, I only read it once, but it made a huge impact on me. So what's the parade of techniques you brought to your R Squared group?
Yeah, so it was funny. Last Friday, someone had an Ask the Experts, and then this kind of came up. So the Ask the Experts question was, how do I keep everything in line? I'm like super overwhelmed with all of my assignments. And I said, not assignments, but like keeping track of all your clients when you have listings and buying and selling. And she was just starting to get really busy. And I said, something that really holds me accountable and also aligns with customer service is the scheduling that I've been offering clients that I just do for myself. So instead of using a paper calendar, I use my Google Calendar. So every time I have photos taken or a listing going live, or if it's like feedback day, I put it into my Google Calendar. So every Monday I give feedback to my sellers or buyers. And I've been inviting my clients to my Google Calendar events. And so it holds me accountable for that service. Like, okay, I'm checking in. We have the videographer coming. We have the listing going live. We have our mailers going. And so it's just like they know what's going on with their advertisement of their house. And they also know what is coming up, and it pops up on their calendar, regardless if they have Gmail or not. It's
And
great.
regardless whether they don't need to be there when you're doing this activity, but now they're aware that you're doing it. It's another new kind of cool techie way
Yeah.
of communicating.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So,
how does unreasonable service slide into that message? That's a great message all by itself.
um, I think it's just like, here's what I'm doing for you instead of being silent. Like people don't necessarily know the preparation that goes into a listing going live. And I think it just really shows them, oh, my agent really is working for me.
You
And
bet.
people appreciate it a lot. Not that they say a lot, but my communicators are like, oh, this is great.
Do a 1 minute book report because so far we haven't even, other than a title and an author, we haven't talked about where
Oh
the
my gosh.
impetus comes from.
Okay, so um the book is the gentleman who wrote the book actually was a manager of this like high-end restaurant in New York. And he kept wanting to get Mitchell and
Michelin
um
rating. Rating.
yes. And so they kept doing like little activities for not clients, but people that were eating at the restaurants, right? So like one day it was snowing out and these people are just eating at the restaurant. Like they're not just serving amazing food, they're kind of listening to their conversation, not eavesdropping, but they're like, where are you from? And these people were from somewhere warm, like maybe Spain or something, and they had never seen snow. So at the end of the meal, when they were getting ready to go, his staff went out and bought these cheap plastic, um, oh my gosh, sleds so that these people from Spain could go sledding in the New York snow in the winter. And it was just like elevated the whole experience of dining at this restaurant, and they would never forget it. And so it's just like after reading that book, I'm like, what are little things that we can do to really show our clients like we are going the extra mile for them. And we also want to make it really special for them.
And unique to them. One of my favorite stories from the book, because I love this book too, was when they were dining and they were discussing the guests at the restaurant were discussing the one thing they didn't do. It was eating a hot dog, a New York hot dog from a street vendor, which was just down the block. And so the waiter heard this story, went to the boss and said, this is what's going on. And so anyway, I'm not sure the detail, I don't remember, but somebody ran down the street and bought hot dogs and they were presented on the china from the five-star restaurant to each of the people that had already paid, lots and lots of money to eat at this Michelin star hotel. And they got a chance to have their hot dog. They were on their way to the airport after the lunch, so there wasn't going to be time for them to go do that, and they made it happen.
Yeah.
What story did you just think of?
I thought about it's all kind of creepy, right? Technology. And when the people came into the restaurant, the hostess knew them by name before, and they had never met them before. So they would find out their information of the people that were going to be joining at the restaurant. Like they found out their first and last names, and then they Googled them to make sure that they could see their image and greet them. And so I think that they printed off all the people that were coming that night so that the hostess had it memorized of their name to their face. And I just think that is wild customer service.
Can you think of any examples that you have employed? I mean, I love the Google Calendar event idea. And if you can't, that's fine, because I did not tell you I was going to ask this question, but it's kind of bubbling up out of me. Having an awareness of providing unreasonable hospitality, That's how we secure those long-term, deepening relationships with people who are going to refer us more business, who are going to choose us to begin with, and then refer us everybody they know and their friends and family, not to help us, but to make sure that their friends and family have that same experience. And it is about the experience, isn't it?
Oh,
So
100%.
as we're thinking about this, can you think of an example of someone maybe on your team or something that you do that is a surprise, that is going beyond?
So I do something special for clients every closing. I have my special photographer friend that will come do a sold photo. So it's not just like I'm taking it on my phone. They get like real professional photos. And so here's an example of like my postcard mailer. Oh,
Oh, love it.
and that I couldn't take a photo that good on my phone. And
Yeah.
then so then we took one without the sold sign. I had it printed and mailed to them because they moved up to the Stillwater area. And it was just like a surprise at their front door. But can I share something else that I think is super powerful that I learned about in our market? So much of our real estate business is working with other agents, right? And we need to have, in my market, our town is 120,000 people. So our realtor relationships are pretty close knit, right? Like we're
Right.
running into each other many times a year.
Right.
And I just feel like our customer service, even to the other realtors, is really powerful. And my last two closings that I represented the buyer, the listing agent had the sellers do a final walkthrough. They had a final walkthrough checklist. And they also had like just double check all the inspection repairs were completed. And they had the checklist on the counter that the sellers had signed
Oh,
before the buyers did their walkthrough. And then also like the agents will go walk through or their assistant will walk through to make sure that the house is in good condition. I like this for two reasons. Everyone is aware of what the house looks like, so we don't run into a mess on closing day.
right.
And I just think it elevates like I am representing my clients, but I'm also looking out for the buyer's agent's best interest so we don't have to have an awkward conversation an hour before closing.
Yeah, and it puts the onus on the seller. So you didn't sweep the garage and there's still three tires piled up in the corner. So
Yeah,
now the seller is aware of that because you did this checklist and you did that as a service to the selling agent and the
yeah,
buyer to cut the problem off before it even occurs. We tried to get rid of the tires. My uncle Sid was supposed to get them. He'll be there
yeah,
Tuesday. I mean, you can almost solve the problem as it's occurring. That's
yeah,
brilliant. Yeah.
yeah. So those have been my two favorite like creative techniques that have really popped up in the last month or two.
Yeah, you reminded me of a little gift. We do closing gifts, many of
Yeah.
us, right?
Mhm.
And one of the things that I've seen that I really like is taking the photos of the house when you had them professionally done and having them bound in a book. So you can use, Walgreens, or there's all kinds of different places that create those little photo books.
Yeah.
And just having a this was every room. This was the detail of your kitchen wallpaper.
Yeah.
I think when somebody is leaving their home, especially, somebody that's been there a long time, those
Mhm.
kinds of things can really have a lot of meaning. I have a
Mhm.
student who did like a memory box. And when the buyers were replacing the old shag carpet. I don't know if it was really shag, but the terrible yellow, let's say, carpet. They took a swatch and that went into the memory box. And I, just little,
Wild.
yeah, kind of that's deepening a relationship,
Yeah.
right? Like who would do that? Your
Yeah.
sister, your brother, your best friend.
Yeah.
Love it.
I love that.
Unreasonable, craziness, doing something that's totally unexpected. You
Mhm.
know, that the roots of that really for us in our Wickman family come from Floyd, right? He
Mhm.
taught us to always under promise, over deliver.
Mhm.
So to make sure that when we tell someone we're going to do something, we do it. That's in our core values, but that we don't tell them everything we're going to do. We allow some of it to be a surprise, to over deliver, over communicate, especially today as DOM is getting longer in some areas. You know, it gets harder to hold a whole bunch of listings if they're going to be on the market for 55 days or 95 days as opposed to 12, like we've
Mhm.
had in some eras. So it kind of challenges our service bone, our service skill.
I guess I have one more thing, even though we're kind of tight on time. Something fun that I've also been doing is small gifts along the way.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. And the reason I like that is like, you're not necessarily just doing a big gift at closing. So I've been like, oh, you got your house ready. Let's go buy those flowers and bring it to the sellers for the listing photos, right? So I really like that. But then once the house is under contract and we're out of inspection period, I like to send them a little treat. So it might be like to our local ice cream shop or a local bakery or an activity that they can do locally with their family to celebrate, like mini golfing. And so it's like I send them a letter in the mail and I say, congrats, we got through this phase and go celebrate a little. Not all the way, but just a little.
Yep. Keep your fingers crossed. We're not closed yet. But
Yeah,
yeah, love that. That's
yeah.
brilliant. I'm so glad you thought of it. And thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
What
Alli
a treat.
Vaith, Rochester, Minnesota. So you got a referral. That's your, I was going to say that's your man, but it would be
I'm your
whatever.
gal.
Here's yeah, yeah, that's probably not politically correct either. Anyway, thank you, Alli. It's been fun.
Thanks, Mary. Have a great day.